Welcome to IISU.
Hey everyone, welcome to the first ever IISU presentation, where I'll be covering every facet of IISU and catch you up on its development journey. The initial teaser received so much positive reaction, even more than I could have ever anticipated. I still can't believe just how much my community grew after IISU's announcement. I figured now is a perfect time to introduce myself, given how 80% of you probably never heard of me before. My alias here is Usagi Shade, but some of you might know me as iShade outside of emulation content. Career-wise, I live abroad, currently located in Asia, with a very high skill ceiling in animation and motion graphic design. Those familiar with my content are well aware that I've always been yearning for the perfect emulation experience when it comes to handhelds, especially in regards to front ends and their UI. After tons of years of not being too satisfied with any of the options currently available, I went ahead and put all my ideas on paper and designed a front end that's not only setting a new visual standard, but implementing innovative and nuanced features that aren't normally acknowledged in this field. Fast forward to now, and I'm able to develop IISU, which at first glance is a home launcher borrowing the design philosophies of the PSP's cross-media bar and the 3DS's home menu experience, although that's barely scratching the surface. While many of you do understand the exciting implications of IISU's existence, there's definitely a lot of you who might still be confused as to what IISU actually is. Since not everyone is well versed in the emulation space, it's common to see a lot of questions regarding IISU's entire purpose and its use case. I'll be covering all bases today, and hopefully put some ambiguity to rest by the end of everything. We'll be diving into the full IISU experience from start to finish. Later on, I'll go over IISU's current state of development, introduce you to the full team, and tease what's to be expected in the future with as much transparency as possible. Alright, I'm sure you're all excited, so let's get to it then. Here's an in-depth look at IISU.
Home.
Welcome to IISU's dedicated homepage, the central hub that allows you to easily access all of the features IISU has to offer, as well as where you'll spend most of your spare time. We've recently updated IISU's modal designs, aiming towards a more liquid glass finish. During the initial setup process, you'll be prompted to choose between Flat UI, which closely resembles the style shown in the teaser, and Mizu UI, a shinier and more polished theme which we'll be utilizing for this presentation. In the background, you'll hear the official IISU home theme, composed by the legendary Thaddeus Silva, known for his extensive backlog of original concepts inspired by the Frutiger Aero aesthetic Nintendo is known for. The main attraction here is the widgets panel in the center, acting as the main gateway to all of your shortcuts and anything else you might pin onto it. These can be instant links to any game in your library, or purely cosmetic decorations. Some widgets have specific functions like reminding you what you recently played, a random pick from your favorites, and even games you haven't touched in a while. These will snag a recent screenshot as their thumbnail, which I felt would pull players in more than just displaying its icon. Beneath all these widgets is one of 5 panels that can be navigated like pages, adding more room for new widgets. Games aren't the only thing you can pin onto your home screen. With clear images, GIF support, and being able to edit every icon, you can customize your home screen to fit any look you want. We're thinking of adding even more widget types in the future, but we'll get to those a bit later. In the bottom, we have our button prompts displaying basic commands, including a menu prompt that will bring up IISU's main menu screen, acting as a native pause menu for quick access to IISU's core features and software settings. Activating the details prompt would allow you to view more information about any selected object. This will have varying use cases, depending on what part of IISU you're navigating through. In terms of navigation itself, pressing the left and right bumpers will activate the universal navigation bar, which will allow you to visit other parts of IISU without ever getting lost. A lot of these icons are still placeholders, so these may change by the time IISU is released to the public. With this, we'll navigate the rest of IISU's UI and take a closer look at the full experience.
Game select.
Here's where all the UI fundamentals come together. The core experience behind your gaming sessions is the library you build for your dedicated device. What sets IISU apart from pre-existing front ends is its focus on minimalism and simplicity, while also delivering something that's visually stimulating. We're stepping away from the hardcore collector's approach and simplifying the way that we display each platform and all of their titles. Rather than attaching a flood of information, we tuck the excessive parts within the details menu while only keeping the bare minimum right in front of you. Each platform has its own distinct gradient ramp with a symbol that indicates its system of origin without being too on the nose. It's just enough information that you can easily tell what it's trying to say. We can also see a game counter, which doesn't really need much explaining. I should make it very clear to newcomers that IISU doesn't come with games pre-installed. These are added manually by the user, which means you're responsible for obtaining every title yourself, and IISU will detect and display them accordingly. Google is also a very useful tool when it comes to that sort of thing, so I encourage you to do your own research and not expect any direct answers here. Selecting a platform will unravel its unique subset of games, where you'll be immediately struck by a game's distinct presentation. This includes its curated media, as well as a soundbite that immerses you even further. Here's a few of my favorite examples. Launching a game will bring you into the experience completely, giving the UI a smooth exit, while the backdrop acts as a transition into what you're playing. For those of you who enjoy making collections, you'll also be able to sort your extensive library neatly by franchise. You can even pin a collection to your homepage for instant access to those titles. I have major plans for the Collections tab, but that subject deserves an entire video on its own. More on that in the near future.
Retro achievements.
Playing your games doesn't have to be a bare-bones experience, which is why Retro Achievements is a natural integration in today's emulation ecosystem. Not only does this feature bring the majority of your library to life with modern online features, but it incentivizes you to truly complete and master the games you loved growing up, as well as classic games you might discover for the first time. I have an entire video on this topic if you're curious about this feature altogether. Within IISU, Retro Achievements are at the forefront, being an integral part of your library in many portions of IISU's UI. For now, we'll focus on IISU's dedicated RA tab, which allows you to browse recently earned achievement badges based on your current collection. The main view will categorize your compatible titles by platform. However, IISU's UI will also allow you to categorize these games based on recent activity as well as their overall completion. We initially showed off a 2x2 card selection view for this in the teaser, but you also have the option to toggle a list view featuring all the standard information you're familiar with in regards to its overall completion progress. What happens when you collect every single badge and master a game? The game's mastery will be indicated by a gold bezel, which can only be displayed when it's earned in hardcore mode. The notification bell at the top will alert you in cases like these, also informing you if you've earned any new achievements. These stack over time along with any other recent activity, but we'll touch on those a bit later.
Media browsing.
One thing I loved about the XMB was its approach to browsing your personal media, with one of my favorite features being its built-in music player. With IISU, I want to streamline media browsing without ever having to leave the app, similar to how it's done in the XMB. Browsing through your local MP3 and WAV files would be like browsing any other content on IISU, with the ability to have them playing in the background while you navigate through the rest of the UI. Maybe you'll even spot something when you open the main menu. By linking a content folder as your file directory, IISU will populate that specific media category. The same can be done with photos or any videos you've saved locally. Within your game selection screen, you will find a media stack, which contains anything from screenshots, artwork, and embedded YouTube links revolving around the selected game. You'll be able to add your own images, as well as link any videos you'd like. We could make it so that the media stack automatically plays part of a video when the game screen loads in, but this will default to displaying images during your initial experience. This media can also be used to decorate your homepage, or maybe set a wallpaper.
IISU Network.
Beyond just the usual front-end features, IISU prioritizes social connectivity, something that's been less prevalent in handhelds, especially when you narrow it down to portable emulation. IISU Network will support third-party online platforms like Pictoverse, which is an app developed by the Richmond that takes heavy inspiration from Miiverse, allowing you to connect and post simple artwork under a wide variety of gaming-based communities. This can be anything from Zelda, Pokemon, Everybody's Golf, Sanrio, you name it. This opens the door for other platforms like Pretendo and, of course, Retro Achievements. The IISU side of things will enhance a lot of the presentation and cater the experience for handheld users with varying screen layouts. A lot of third-party features will tie into their original source, but some functions are exclusive to IISU Network. When you link your IISU Network account, you'll have access to all of its core features, like posting a text status, drawing under any community thread, and being able to interact with public community posts from other users. This also ties into IISU's built-in friends system, which can be accessed on the top left corner. Here, you can see who's online, what they're up to, among a few other things which we'll get back to. Your friends will be the first ones to appear in your welcome feed upon entering the Pictoverse tab, keeping you connected to the people closest to you at all times. Some features exclusive to IISU's UI include instant messaging.
Good shot!
What better way to spend your time playing an intense game than to see your friends encourage you on screen? With IISU, you never have to compromise your time with friends, even when you're in game. The instant messaging feature allows you to connect with your friends in real time or when they're away, making it a key part of sharing experiences together. One of the biggest attractions here is the drawing feature, which allows you to send drawings to your friends if you're short on words or if you need an icebreaker. If you're hosting a NetPlay server, you can send a direct invite to any recipient, which they can join if they happen to have the same game. You're also able to add multiple friends to an active chat and make the night even more fun. This feature is still being worked on behind the scenes, so there's not a lot we can show or confirm as concrete at the moment. Here's a quick look at IISU's biggest online feature yet. Introducing IISU's Central Community Hub, where you'll find all sorts of downloadable content made by other IISU users around the world. With a unique theme based on the time of year, there's always going to be something new around the corner whenever you load in. At the top, you'll see featured community submissions, which are assets submitted by IISU users that have gained a lot of interactions and positive feedback. These can be anything from game assets to custom tracks for your menu. Beneath it, you'll have easy access to every unique content category. Each category will have its own distinct tone and atmosphere, changing the backdrop to its own corresponding colors, so you'll always know what content you're browsing through. We'll only be focusing on custom themes today, but expect more information on everything else in the future. Here, you'll find an assortment of themes designed by users, which you can download and apply to your own IISU experience. The main tab will showcase all the themes officially created by the IISU team, with a separate tab that contains content created and submitted by the IISU community. You'll notice some content contains a number of points required to download. This feature is something we're still discussing and figuring out, so we won't go into much detail in this presentation. When viewing content in Shopee, you'll see a much more detailed user post featuring more of the content's description, as well as the user who submitted said content. This form of community sharing will be a big part of what makes Shopee a collective experience, so you'll always feel connected to other users, even when you're just enjoying creations at your own leisure. Since the holidays are around the corner, we'll try out this festive theme. Here in the download page, you'll be able to view every bit of information regarding the content you're downloading. You'll also have the option to like, comment, and bookmark anything you engage with whenever you'd like. Not sure how you feel about a certain submission? If you'd like to know how others feel about it, tapping on the review tab will show you comments given by users who've already tried it out. This can be useful if you're trying to spend your points carefully. Everything looks good so far, so it's time for the fun part. Pressing the download button will begin the installation process, filling up a gauge that determines its progress. After installing, your home screen will look and sound a bit different. Something I love doing every year is decorating my home screen with anything festive or winter related, and I'll only play games that fit the winter vibe for the entire month of December. Some experiences like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, Toy Day in Animal Crossing, Christmas Nights into Dreams, and the Snow Resort in Go Vacation really bring the entire mood home for me. I don't know, man. You can't tell me going up the ski lift at night with your buddies isn't the chillest thing in the world. I live for moments like these. To utilize Shopee to the fullest, we've also been considering allowing verified users to sell their original indie games, the kind of stuff you'd find in itch.io. Fan games wouldn't be allowed to sell for obvious reasons, but if you wanted to share those for free, go right ahead. In terms of verification badges, we're thinking of 3 variations. Blue will represent official IISU members, including special affiliates. Gold will be Shopee verified sellers, and red will be established influencers and content creators. At the top right corner is your profile card, which will showcase your account badges as well as your stats across all relevant profile links. These can be your followers, current achievement data, your activity status, and so on.
E-channel.
Did you know? I think it's pronounced subscribe to Mr. Sujano or IISU.
IISU just dropped the sickest trailer I've ever seen in my life last week.
One of the latest features being brought to IISU is a dedicated news board. This way, you'll be able to keep up with current IISU updates, new official content available in Shopee, server maintenance, among other things. You'll also be able to link different RSS feeds to keep up with other updates, like news articles from Retro Achievements, IGN, Retro Game Core, etc. Who knows, maybe you'll even be able to track future IISU presentations this way. There's not a lot more I can say about this just yet, so more on this in the future.
DS mode.
After showing off that dual screen mockup in the teaser, people went insane. Honestly, IISU's dual screen mode is one of the biggest factors setting it apart from a lot of options out there, especially with its 3DS aesthetic feeling right at home in the AYN Thor. Yes, even in dark mode. With an added screen, that means a lot of creative liberties had to be made for a distinct IISU experience. However, the core features will remain intact. We're taking full advantage of the unique form factor and adding extra context that we couldn't before. In charge of the dual screen layouts is Nathan Lonis, IISU's co-director and second in command. Given that both branches are part of the same experience, a lot of similarities can be seen right away, like the previously explored home tabs, widget shortcuts, your entire library, as well as the exact same online features. However, for this iteration, we leaned heavily on that classic dual screen experience, like displaying game context on the top screen, easier touch navigation, quick menu, among a few other notable features that are only possible with a second screen. Helpful tip for me, pair the AYN Thor with an official Nintendo Switch stylus from Japan. It's compact, responsive, and glides easily across the Thor's glass panel. This will no doubt enhance your IISU experience, with a lot of IISU's features being implemented with dual screen in mind. That was definitely a lot of information, but I appreciate you keeping up with me so far. There's a few more things to go over before we end this presentation. First, I'll be answering the age-old question, will this be free? IISU will be a free adless experience, including all of its core features, like the home menu, front-end functionality, media browsing, and even its online connectivity. There will be a premium version of IISU, which will add a ton of customization options, like being able to change the BGM and wallpaper, having more than one widget panel, access to custom themes, and uploading your custom assets to Shopee through the IISU UI. This is all completely optional, and not at all necessary to enjoy the full IISU experience. I want everyone to be able to enjoy everything IISU has to offer, regardless of how they choose to go about it. If it hasn't become clear by now, IISU goes far beyond being just another launcher. It's an entire platform, catering to those who dedicate a lot of their time in the emulation space. We could see IISU make its way outside of Android after its full release, but I wouldn't hold my breath until it's officially announced. There are some key benefits to creating something like a Linux port. However, for now, Android is the primary focus. I think we can all agree that it desperately needs this. Let's introduce the entire IISU team. At the top, we have myself as the founder, project director, and lead designer of IISU.
Asagi Shade.
I'm also funding this entire project on my own, so rest assured that I'll see this entire vision through to the end. Up next, we have our co-founders, Nathan Lonis being the co-director of IISU, and Thaddeus Silva being our exclusive sound artist and BGM composer. Just being introduced to the team, we have Sylvia Shin, who not only did most of the VAs for this video, but is also very skilled when it comes to interactive design, UX, and wireframing. Fun fact, the first voice clip you hear in the video is actually my wife, so that's why it sounds a little bit different. I decided to keep it in there anyway, just because I love the way it sounded. Totally no bias or anything. On the development side of things, we have our lead front-end developer, Wesos. He's been killing it since day one, launching IISU's first alpha build only 1 week after its announcement, with a second alpha build already out within the same month. Other front-end devs include Twig, Heki, and Radian, who specialize in the Android styling side of things, as well as native API functions and how some emulation features behave within the launcher itself. For backend, we have Leonie taking full control of the web APIs and IISU's online functionality. She built the IISU network profile system, which allows for a more personal experience. Harsh has been tackling the IISU scraper database, where all of our unique assets will be stored to make the scraping process that much easier. This is something that users will be able to contribute to as well in the future. BD has been developing the friend system that allows for social connectivity between IISU accounts. This makes it possible for various interactions to be had between active IISU users. Lastly, King Ultron and JD Brands will handle any miscellaneous work that isn't necessarily part of the larger implementations, like web page layouts, extra designs, and any backend related tasks. It's honestly very difficult to tell just how long it will be before we see IISU make its way to the public. I initially thought it would take about a year to even see a standard release, but with the way things are going, I wouldn't be shocked if we were able to launch IISU as early as spring of next year. But we'll have to just wait and see how things go from here. We definitely plan on releasing the general experience first, while the online features take some extra time to be fully incorporated. There's still some new announcements to be made and some exciting features I'm excited to share with you, but I'll have to save those for when they're officially ready. Expect more on IISU as time goes on. I'd like to take a quick second to thank my supporters. You guys are the reason that IISU is even possible to begin with.
That's so peen.
I'm not even sure where the project would be right now had it not been for your contribution when I needed it most. Want to make an IISU account early? Well, at the end of this presentation, you're able to make your personal IISU account before diving in. Those who have supported IISU prior to this announcement have already been able to make their accounts early, and will have an early adopter badge pinned next to their name. I'll have a direct link down in the description. Before I go, here's one last gift for you guys. Every single custom box art crafted for IISU's UI, IISU's official platform icons, including the complete PSD files to create and customize your own IISU assets, will be attached in the description below as a huge thank you for the massive support we've been receiving so far. Please enjoy all of the months of hard work I've poured into these assets and have fun creating your own custom icons. Thanks again for all the support, and I can't wait to share more with you all fairly soon.
Thank you for choosing IISU as your new home. Can't wait to see you.